We are back on the anchor washdown project, and we have some new goodies that came in the mail thanks to Amazon. We picked up some water hose here, 1/2 inch inside diameter, 3/4 inch OD. We got some T-fittings to hopefully use to tap into the existing water line. And I believe this is going to be my faucet fixture that will be in the anchor locker to turn on and off the water to wash down the anchor. This looks like I can mount it to the bulkhead. I could put a hose on it, turn it on and off right from here. I'll just have to get the correct fitting. So I purchased 25 feet coil of this water hose, which should be plenty to run through the boat to tap into existing fresh water behind that cabinet, through the compartments, under the floor, under the bed, and all the way up to the forward anchor locker that's behind the headboard wall over there. So let me lay out some of this hose and open up some compartments and start fishing this hose through. All right, we opened up this compartment here underneath the master stateroom bunk, and that's going up towards the anchor locker. And here is our bow thruster and 2 bow thruster batteries. So yeah, we have to get through that hole. I don't know if that goes directly to the anchor locker. Let me open up the anchor locker hatch up on deck. Check it out. All right, here's our anchor locker, and hopefully, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to poke through there. Don't know what's behind that, how to get access to that. So what I'm thinking is, but it's probably behind that panel in there. Let me get my borescope in there. All right, I got my borescope here. Handy little item I bought on Amazon. Just plugs right into the phone using a regular firewire connector. And I'm gonna take a look inside here. See what it looks like. But this is the app for the camera. Use the camera. All right, what do we see in there? I think I see nothing. I see wires. I see wires going. Okay. It's a pretty far distance in there, actually. All right, so I guess I'm just drilling another hole. All right, so we drilled an exploratory hole to get access into this other compartment that did not have any access holes. So now at least I can get my hand in there. So I need to run the hose from this side across to where these other ones are. And I don't know where that goes. That goes into another void somewhere by the anchor locker. So I got to check that out now. I have our borescope again. I'm going to take a look down the hole, go down the rabbit hole. See all the wires going to another hidden compartment in there. Stick the camera through the hole, see what's on the other side. It's hard to do this. Okay, now we're through. All right, there's that connector. That's the connector that we see in the bilge. Holy cow. This is going to be one hell of a bitch. How the hell do you get access there? All right, drilling more holes in boats. So, bit the bullet and drilled a 1-inch hole just above that control wire there. Now I'm going to drop, because I got to stick the hose through there down into that other compartment that's down, hard to get to inside. So I'm going to try to do, I have a string with a washer on the end. I'm going to drop that down the hole and try to grab it on the other side with a magnet. Let's see how that works. All right, we got the line in there. Now let me put the probe through there and see if I can see the line. Yeah, look what's right there. There it is. Not too far in. I don't know if I'm going to be able to grab it. All right, I couldn't get it with the magnet. It's too far up. So I got this hook that's on the end of the probe here, borescope, and I might be able to grab it with the hook if I could find it. All right, there it is. There's my little hook on the end of the camera, and here's my drag. So hopefully I'll be able to attach this to the hose and pull it up from the other side. Let's see. Before I do all that, I'm going to snake it through all these compartments so I have the slack I need up here at the bow. Which will bring us over here and go through that hole there, which will bring us under the bed. There's another compartment in here. There's that hole there, and it goes across through that hole. That'll bring us into the bow thruster area. Then we go through that hole, then through that hole, and hopefully our snake pulls it up. All right, I got the line attached to a tapered end of the hose. So hopefully when I pull the string, this doesn't pull out. It's actually through the rubber with the washer. And it's gonna be tough to do by myself. Might have to call the Admiral for some support. Let's give it a shot. See if we can push it through there. All right, that was actually easier than I thought it would be. I just sort of fed it with one hand and pulled the string with the other. And it made it through. Awesome. All right, moving right along. We have our hose routed, tie wrapped, all the way up through that next hole. It's routed through here. Now the hole that I cut out, I just sort of made a little plug for it. It'll go back in its spot. This is only the headboard area, doesn't really get a whole lot of weight on it. So, all right, now to snake that hose from this compartment here under the bed into here, put a light in there so you can see through a little bit better. It shouldn't be too bad. Maybe I'll use a hanger or something to push it through. Just not a whole lot of room for the hose, but we should be able to get something through there. All right, my plan is to stick a wire hanger through the bulkhead down there so it penetrates both sides, and then I'll hook it up to the hose and pull the hanger back through. That should work. All right, yes, the hanger is through, and I got the hose on the hanger, and hopefully I can pull it through that little hole right there. All right, the hose is through. Now the rest of it should be pretty easy. I just got to go compartment by compartment, and the way I'm pulling this line, got to pull the whole 20 feet of it or so, 15 feet of it left, through each compartment, and then I have to pull the fridge out, freezer, to get underneath there. All right, hose is run, tucked in there. I'll tie wrap it later. Running out of time today, so I'll tidy up enough time. All right, we're done on this compartment. All right, it's getting easier and easier as we get further down the line. We get more access. The hardest part next is going to be pulling out the freezer. Let's snake the rest of this line into the middle compartment here. All right, this one shouldn't be too bad. Got a nice big hole to push it through. That's the hole that black hose was originally going in, draining into the other bilge. Doesn't really matter why it drains over there. But I'm going to run that drain hose so it doesn't drain into the bilge anymore. I'm going to tap into one of these ports here for the shower sump drain and have it drain into that. All right, we're snaked through this bilge compartment here. Close that up. Now we got all the hose here in the shower sump compartment. All right. We empty it out the freezer and 4 screws, and the thing is sliding right out. I don't know if this is the access we need. Well, let's pull this out and see what's underneath here. All right. Doesn't look as easy as I hoped, or not. Oh, wait a minute. We got all sorts of things going on in here. We got a compressor for an air conditioner sticking out over there. Oh, that's for this. Holy shit. All right, here we go. Here's our access. Wow, the compressor is separate from this, so we got to be super careful here. There is an access panel underneath here that I think looks like, there we go. That's where we got to get. Wonderful. All right. There's our hoses. Actually, we could tap into the coal line right there. All right, we got it. I had to drill another hole to get this hose through because there wasn't enough room in these cutouts. Just particle board going into the other compartment. Why they have so many of these compartments segmented like this, compartmentized, don't know. But I think what I'm going to do, this blue line here is the water line. I'm going to put a T-fitting right here and tap it in right in this part and not try to go any further with it. So I'll just pull in the rest of this hose and be done with it at this point. All right, we got the T-fitting fitted. All right, we got a hole drilled for the spigot. I got a elbow fitting on it for the hose. And we're getting ready to put that all in. All right, we got our spigot mounted. I got to tighten it up still. The hose tucks nicely underneath. Don't know if you'd see that. I just have to get some fasteners for it and tie wrap it in a couple spots. Seal up the hole down there. And let's test it for leaks. All right, it's a long day, but our fridge is back together. Our boat is back together, pretty much. Now let's go test out our new hose. Made myself a short hose out of some leftover line that I ran up here. There we go. Now we can wash down our anchor. Cool beans. A little helper. And me. Good boy.